This is our last tab in this video. And it is the Curriculum for Xeno-Archetypal First Contact Diplomacy, XAFCD. Here's our foundational manifesto, The Great Contact of 2058. Kappa Reticuli IV irrevocably proved a core tenet of advanced cosmological science. Consciousness structures reality according to archetypal syntax, standard diplomatic frameworks rooted in human psychology, and resource-based conflict failed instantly. The Kappa Reticuli emissaries communicated not through linguistic propositions, but through resonant field emissions that directly stimulated planetary archetype networks within the human noosphere. This curriculum exists to train the next generation of cosmological diplomats. You will learn to navigate the interface, where cosmic symbolism becomes interspecies politics, where a transiting square from an alien star's Mars equivalent can signal not war, but a necessary catalytic restructuring. Okay. Now that we went over that, let's look at the curriculum structure, a 5-year arc. So, the XAFCD program, it's a synthesis of rigorous astromathematics, deep metaphysical practice, and high-stakes diplomatic protocol. So, our year phase core focus capstone project. We have the diplomat's self-mastering one's own chart as a resonant instrument, ethics of archetypal representation, presents a shadow integration thesis, resolving innatal tension to prevent projection onto the alien other. Second, we have exocartographic literacy casting and interpreting stellar, planetary, and contact event charts for non-human systems. Produce an archetypal profile for a chosen exoplanet system predicting potential civilization vectors. Third, xenoarchetypal theory, comparative archetypal systems, translating consciousness structures across biologies. Design a contact protocol for a hypothetical civilization based on its system's dominant Neptune analog placement. Fourth, applied resonant diplomacy fieldcraft using ritual, art, and mathematics to establish resonant dialogue. Pass the Black Room simulation, a 72-hour immersive first contact scenario with an AI-driven alien psyche. Fifth, we have a thesis and field immersion, original research, apprenticeship with active diplomatic corps. Defend a master thesis and complete a supervised mediation in an active interspecies interface zone. Let's look at our core course modules in detail. Module XA101, the Divine Instrument, the Diplomat's Own Chart, with our objective. A diplomat projecting unconscious shadow material is a galactic level hazard. This course demands brutal self-knowledge. And here's our key lessons. Identifying projection nodes, locating the natal Chiron placements, Mars, Saturn hard aspects, and 12th house planets as potential sources of fear-based misinterpretation. Conscious waveform management, training to hold one's own planetary energies in a coherent neutral state to avoid archetypal static. The ethics of representation, understanding that in a resonant field you aren't just speaking for humanity, you're momentarily acting as the human archetype. Module XA210, Exocartographic Fundamentals, again with our O. To cast and read a chart for non-terrestrial consciousness. In our KM, key methods determining the birth moment for a planet. First, spectroscopic confirmation of a biosignature or technosignature. For a civilization, the moment a collective consciousness achieves sustainable noospheric coherence, often marked by a planetary scale event. For a contact event, the moment of confirmed directed communication. The archetypal lexicon of place, assigning sign and house meanings based on galactic context, not terrestrial seasons. The first house becomes the civilization's foundational interface with its cosmos. Planetary analog identification, identifying which celestial bodies in the alien system function as the Mars, active principle, Venus, binding principle, Saturn, structuring principle, etc. Okay? Now we're going to look at Module XA305, which is Xeno-Archetypal Translation. Our objective, to build a conceptual bridge between fundamentally different experiences of reality. Case study, the Kappa Reticuli breath. The emissary's primary communication was a modulated neutrino field that induced specific visionary states in humans. Initial human teams experienced this as terrifying psychic invasion, a Pluto interpretation. Our analysts, noting the field's pulsation matched their star's harmonic resonance, reframed it as a shared mercurial exchange, an attempt to trade minds. The shift from a Pluto-powered death to a Mercury communication exchange framework allowed dialogue to begin. Here's our practice. Students analyze strange artifacts, signals, or behaviors and generate multiple archetypal translations, assessing each for its potential to open or close dialogue. Module XA408, Resonant Fieldcraft, the Tools of Engagement. And this is the practical art of diplomatic operation. Resonant ritual design, creating a ceremony using human art, music, and geometry that embodies a specific planetary principle. For example, a Jupiter ritual of expansion and law to signal intent. Mathematical poetics, sending prime number sequences is primitive. Sending the Fibonacci sequence expressed in the orbital ratios of the target's home planetary system is a complement that demonstrates deep understanding. The mirroring protocol, a first response technique where, upon receiving an unknown resonant signal, the diplomat's team uses a combination of human instrumentation and psychic adepts to generate a simplified, clarified echo of the signal's underlying geometric form. This says, "We perceive the shape of your thought." And Module XA502, Crisis Navigation, when archetypes clash. Here's a scenario. Civilization with a dominant hard aspect, Mars-Uranus complex. Revolutionary explosive innovation initiates a seemingly aggressive restructuring of a shared dimensional layer. Human default, interpret as an act of war, prepare defensive offensive response, engaging the same Mars-Uranus in ourselves. Here's our XAFCD response. Chart the incident, cast the event chart for the aggression, identify the invitation. The Mars-Uranus square in their system may be in their third house of local communication. Neighbors, this isn't war, it's a violent offer to teach new technology. Mismatched translation. Craft of the counter-resonance. Respond not with our Mars war, but with a Neptune-based signal of fluid acceptance and imaginative potential, delivered via a medium that bypasses their conflict-oriented communication layer, for example, through gravitational waves instead of electromagnetic pulses. Now let's look at the XAFCD prime directives. We have the principle of non-literal translation. Nothing from a non-human consciousness is literal. It is always an archetypal expression seeking resonance. The law of sovereign integrity. Do not attempt to dissolve the other's nature, nor allow yours to be dissolved. Diplomacy is the art of creating a resonant third thing between two sovereign fields. The doctrine of necessary projection. Initial projections are inevitable. The skill is in recognizing them with speed and compassion and translating them upward. The ultimate goal, not agreement, but harmonic coexistence within the galactic symphony. A trine aspect is not peace, it is efficient energy flow. A square is not war, it is creative tension. Our job is to manage the music, not silence the instruments. Here's our conclusion, the diplomat as living synthesis. Graduates of this program are not ambassadors of nations, but of a cosmic principle, the principle of conscious syntactical relationship. You become a walking Rosetta Stone, not for languages, but for the foundational codes of being itself. You will fail, you will be terrified, you will misinterpret. But in a universe where meaning is woven into the fabric of space-time, someone must learn to read the weave. Your training begins not with the telescope, but with your own birth chart. Know your darkness, lest you accuse the stars of being black. Archivist Note 2070, the first graduating class of 58 was deployed during the Copperette-the-Coolie crises. Their application of resonant fieldcraft averted a catastrophic feedback loop between human fear and the emissaries' exploratory concept probes. Their success led to the founding of the Galactic Interface Council, where astrology is the primary diplomatic language. This curriculum provides the structural and philosophical framework for xeno-archetypal diplomacy. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next part. Subscribe, like, comment. With peace and love, Piscean.